you guys can actually catch the replay there. All right, but without further ado, hey everybody, welcome to this month's Doors, Deals, and Dollars webinar. I'm so glad you're here with us today. Our topic is an exciting one. We'll be exploring how some of today's technologies are being used to improve operations and efficiencies in real estate, as well as ways you, as an investor, can use technology to make your own life easier and more productive, especially now in this day and age where we have AI taking over by the storm. So it's a very relevant topic at this point. And that's, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tiffany Lunt, and I am the co-host with Carla. And actually, Carla today is our special presenter on the specific topic of AI. But before we dive in, let me quickly cover a few housekeeping items. Please keep your microphones muted throughout the presentation to avoid any background noise. This is meant to be an interactive session, so we encourage your engagement. If you have a question or comment at any point, please either drop in the chat or use the hand raise emoji on the bottom of your screen, and we'll get to you at the most opportune time. At the end of the webinar, there is a short survey that will pop up. It'll only take 30 seconds, but your feedback is incredibly valuable to us. It helps us continue to deliver content that's both relevant and useful to you. All right, without further ado, let's get started. Just a brief background on myself. I'm the founder and managing principal of Lux Equity Capital. I've spent nearly 2 decades in commercial banking and lending before moving into the multifamily real estate investing. My mission is to help busy professionals stop trading time for money by building wealth through real estate while improving communities along the way. With that, I'd love to pass it over to our presenter today, Carla, to introduce herself before we go ahead and jump into today's session.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, and as is written everywhere, my name is Carla Cordovez. I am the founder and managing member of Goldman Capital. I'm so excited to present this topic to you today because my background is in tech as well. And part of what we do at Goldman Capital is help and aid tech workers and tech C-level executives to invest and grow their net worth via syndication, via multifamily syndication. So this is exciting because it ties both of my loves as real estate and with technology. I'm very passionate about AI. I'm very passionate about tech. I've studied it a lot. I've worked as a consultant for C-level executives for quite a few years. I was able to see a lot how businesses change their business plans, and the ones that don't change, how they get left behind, and ultimately they end up dying as a business. So I hope you absorb as much as possible from this presentation, and at any point in time after the presentation, you want to ask questions, send an email, send a message, feel free to do so. All right, so let's get started.
All right. Well, here's a little quiz to wake you guys up. And so I'm going to launch this poll real quick just to get a pulse of the audience. Are you an operator or passive investor? Can everybody see the poll? Just want to double check.
I don't see a poll.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's showing live.
It's showing live, but it's not asking.
It's not asking? Okay. Well, you know what? That's okay. So we're just going to go ahead and do it as a show of hands. If you guys are currently operator or passive investor. Thanks, Mike. Perfect. Yes, Barb is as well. Good. All right, give it 10 seconds and then we're just going to go ahead and move forward. And I think there's a good mix of people here that are that they said yes, Carla.
Okay. All right. So we have a little bit of a mix then, I'm assuming, of operators and passive investors. Perfect. So today's webinar will be helpful for both active multifamily operators as well as passive investors. Why, you may ask? Statistics show that by 2040, so not too far from now, AI will likely automate or transform 50 to 60% of jobs in our country. And 41% of those companies plan to reduce their workforce by 2030. So if we're thinking about 2030, that's 5 years away. And guess what? Generally, a multifamily syndication investment lasts about 5 years. So this is something that will impact all of us within the next few years and then within the next few investments that we make. This McKinsey report reveals that the acceleration of generative AI is expected to automate an additional 8% of American workers' work hours across all of the economic sectors, increasing the overall percentage of automated work hours around 30%. So in essence, all sectors will be impacted by AI. And as good business plans tend to do, they plan ahead. I know I saw it with my C-level executives whenever I provided consulting for them. If you as an operator are not looking into how to automate different services and tasks within your multifamily business, another operator surely will and will most likely be able to provide better returns to their investors because they're operating more efficiently. And as an investor, if you're not looking at and studying what the operators are doing, how they plan to mitigate these future changes, how they plan to mitigate via their business plan changes in workforces that will undoubtedly hit some markets more than others, you're potentially losing out on great returns, or worse, have to deal with not meeting your goals and potentially losing some of your investment because their business plan wasn't sound enough to foresee these future workforce changes. Those numbers are not set in stone, of course, but we already have seen how AI continues to change business strategies across many industries, and how those businesses have laid off thousands and collectively hundreds of thousands of people. This also impacts real estate. Without a job, how will people pay for their rent? Well, having said that, I will pass on to the next question.
Right. All right, we have the next poll. Do you use AI in your daily life or business? Yes, no, what's AI? If you don't know, that's okay too.
Artificial intelligence. We're talking about artificial intelligence today.
Perfect.
All right, what was the answer for most?
Yes, but we have a couple no's.
Okay, all right, great.
Perfect.
All right, so I use AI on my daily routine from morning to evening for my personal life, for business, and it has helped me a lot. And I know Tiffany as well, because I know she uses it as well. It has helped me a lot to make things more efficient, to be more productive with everything that I do, to not have to think about mundane automating tasks, because I can have an AI agent or Gen AI do it for me, so I can focus on the things that I'm really good at. So today we're going to focus on a couple of aspects within the real estate sector that will allow those operators and will allow those passive investors to increase returns. So as we have all seen, technology adoption, or many of us have seen, technology adoption in property management has accelerated dramatically over the past few years, creating incredible opportunities for efficiency, profitability, and most importantly, tenant satisfaction. And before getting ahead of that, have many of you, and this is not a poll that we launched, but have many of you used ChatGPT or Gemini or one of those tools? I know Tiffany has.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's all from my good old intelligence.
What are people say? Yes, only a couple of times. Gemini, okay. Yeah, so ChatGPT and Gemini, you probably have heard at least ChatGPT out there. All companies want to use it. All companies want to use AI. And a lot of people, millions and millions of people have used ChatGPT in order to increase their productivity. Now, you can use those technologies as well within the real estate market. And to really understand where we're headed, I think it's helpful to look at the journey so far. If we look at the past of property management, it was a world dominated by manual processes and paper. We were reactive, not proactive. Think about it. A tenant would call with a maintenance issue, right? Would have to find a paper file, make a phone call, and then track the work order manually. This was the era, I should say, of paper ledgers, filing cabinets, and a lot of administrative heavy lifting. It worked, but it was inefficient, time-consuming, and prone to error. And God forbid you lost one paper, that was it. Who knew that where that information was? But today, we're firmly in a new era, which you can see in the present space right in the middle. We've moved beyond the manual. We're now leveraging powerful interconnected tools, IoT devices, the smart thermostats and leak sensors that we're installing give us real-time data that we can use to improve our operations. AI-powered platforms help us automate tasks like tenant screening and maintenance scheduling, and integrated management systems bring all of these different functions from accounting to communication into a single streamlined platform. The result of it is a more efficient operation and a much improved experience for our tenants. And this is just the beginning. When we're thinking about looking ahead to the future, we're on the cusp of another massive transformation. We'll be using predictive analytics to anticipate problems before they even occur, like predicting when a piece of equipment might fail. We'll see the rise of autonomous building systems. Where a building systems can adjust themselves based on real conditions, and technologies like blockchain will further transform how we handle property transactions and ownership records. These aren't just buzzwords. They are the next wave of innovation that will completely reshape how real estate operates. The core message here is that these technologies aren't just about cool gadgets or cool names. They are about reshaping our industry. They're creating competitive advantages for those who are forward-thinking and willing to adapt. I'm excited to spend the rest of our time today exploring exactly how these technologies are making a difference and how you can begin to implement them in your own portfolio, whether you're an operator or whether you're a passive investor. So let's start with a deeper look at some of these specific technologies. So IoT, the Internet of Things. IoT isn't just about smart gadgets. It's a revolution in how we connect our physical spaces to digital intelligence. It creates a smarter, more efficient, and more secure living environments. On this slide, we've highlighted 3 key areas where IoT is having a massive impact on the real estate and property management industries. So let's start with what might be the most familiar IoT device of all, the smart thermostat. I know I have Nest. So I am assuming that we've all heard of Nest or Ecobee. That's the little ball that is attached to one of your walls in your house to help mitigate your temperature. So, but their true power lies in their ability to provide centralized climate control. So for property managers, this is a game changer because you can remotely manage the temperature in vacant units, significantly reducing energy costs, and in some cases by up to 23%. That's a huge saving that goes directly to our bottom line. But it's not just about saving money, it's also about tenant satisfaction. These systems allow tenants to have personalized comfort right from their smartphones, giving them a modern, more comfortable living experience that makes them feel valued. And this is extremely especially true for value-add properties where generally this kind of technology or this kind of investment isn't made. So next, we're going to look at smart locks and access systems. Solutions like Smart Rent and Latch are redefining that property access. So past are the days that we go from fumbling keys or managing complicated key fobs. At least it should, because I know that's still happening. These systems enable keyless entry, which is a huge convenience for both residents and for staff. So for property managers, this is an incredible tool. You can offer self-guided tours to prospective tenants, allowing them to visit our property on their own schedule without a staff member needing to be physically present. So you will not lay off or let go of your staff member. You will have them do other things that require their presence, while someone that needs to schedule a property view can do so without anyone being physically present. This is a massive efficiency boost. Additionally, these systems provide temporary time-sensitive access for maintenance workers, ensuring that they can get in when they need to and access automatically expires when it is their time to go. And perhaps most importantly, these systems create a comprehensive entry log, giving you an enhanced level of security and a clear record of who has entered and exited a unit. This is specifically important for those empty units where we have seen that sometimes we have, what's it called? Crawlers. I don't remember what what they are called. The people that come in the unit and they stay there and you don't know that they're living there, but they shouldn't be there.
Squatters. Or maybe
Crawlers. Right. I know that within the real estate arena, that's something that impacts a lot. If you have all of a sudden a squatters in your vacant unit, and this can be mitigated because you have that smart lock that you can change the password and you can change the access every week, every month, depending on what you need. So finally, let's talk about an area that is often overlooked but can have the most catastrophic financial impact, which is leaks and leak detection. Systems like Flow by Moen and others are like an extra layer of insurance for your properties. And insurance is high, guys. I know that you know it's extremely high, especially here in Florida where I am located. They can detect microscopic leaks that are often invisible to the naked eye. The genius of these detection systems is that when a leak is detected, they can automatically shut off water supply. This is crucial because it prevents that catastrophic damage that on average costs around $11,000 per incident at the very least. So let's think about it. A small leak behind a wall can go unnoticed for weeks or even months, which leads to mold, which leads to rot, and which leads to a structural damage. What may have been a couple of thousands may very well turn into over $100,000 depending on how far that leak damaged to your building. And an extra $100,000 that wasn't planned for these means, it means less returns for all of the investors. So an IoT leak detection system can prevent that from ever happening, saving you thousands and tens of thousands of dollars and a huge, huge headache. So by integrating these smart solutions, we're not just creating smart homes, but we're creating more profitable, efficient, and secure properties for owners, for investors, for more comfortable, convenient, and secure living spaces for tenants. It is a win-win for everyone involved.
I think that if we can pause on that real quick,
Absolutely.
I'm going to open it up to the audience is as far as, can you guys see how these minor tweaks, so to speak, or implementation, how it can significantly impact the way that like your expense ratio for any of the investment properties. It doesn't have to necessarily be multifamily properties, even if it's your rental, right?
Yeah.
The smart locks and access to that is a huge game changer because now you don't have to go and physically have somebody to go there and change out the lock with each turnover, right? Now imagine if you have 100-unit property, then that's 100 locks that every time there's a turnover, you have to physically have a locksmith come out there and change it out. So there's charge in the physical labor and the actual, the components themselves. Whereas the smart locks is just a change of recoding, right? Mike has a question about roughly what does something like that cost to implement, Carla?
A simple one, it could cost you between $20 and $30. A complex one, it could cost you between $50 to $100. But really, as business owners, if you have relationship with, let's say, Home Depot or Lowe's or any of the other home improvement, it could be considerably less because they will provide discounts for those businesses.
Yeah, I myself have at my home, we have a smart lock where we just change the code. And the great thing too is and now a lot of Airbnb are doing that as well too, right? Because they can change the code with each subsequent guest that stay there, but they also can add multiple users with individual codes. Like the cleaners can come in with their own individual code. And for you, if you have it at your home or units, you can also have it where you can calibrate it to have, like if you're going on vacation and you're going to have somebody come in to do dog sitting or any of that sort. So now all those codes are temporary. So each and every time it's live use and not necessarily having to turn over how many physical locks.
Exactly. And it's per time too. So if you said that the person was going to come in your unit between 2 and 3 o'clock, they will not be able to use that code after those hours or before those hours. The code only becomes available in the lock between 2 and 3 p.m. And once they use it, that's it. It was a one-time deal. They cannot come in again. So it provides a lot of access opportunities, a lot of security opportunities, and it provides a lot of efficiency because you don't need to have anyone be on the property. You can do so while you're, I don't know, sitting in the Bahamas, sipping some virgin margarita.
Virgin? Why bother getting a margarita when you can get it virgin? Are you talking nonsense? Well, like, and to kind of go back on Mike's question about the cost too, and just to give you an idea, typically if you have to rekey any of those units, I believe it runs around $50 or you for each rekeying, and if you multiply that by 100, then that's like $5,000, right? 100 units. And so and then at the end of the day, the value of your multifamily property is based on the net operating income at the end of the day, right? And so any little bit of value add that you can provide and save in expenses is going to instrumentally increase your property by the time you're ready to exit. And so little movements like this, they all add up. And the leak detection thing is definitely a very, relevant topic for a lot of like syndicators like ourselves or investors like you, because, it's costly if you can identify there's a leak ahead of time and there's moisture, you can prevent mold. Right? Molding is the biggest issue for a lot of properties when we have to go through remediation. It's huge. So again, these are all very wonderful tools that we're able to leverage within our properties. And I'm going to go hand it back to Carla. Sorry, I just had to make sure that I emphasize how awesome these programs are.
Yeah, no. It's amazing what we can do with it. So now that we've seen how IoT can improve efficiency, let's talk about the next major leap here. So it is called AI-powered property management. So what's the difference? This is where the real revolution happens. We're moving beyond simple automation into a world where intelligent virtual assistants are handling routine, repetitive tasks with incredible sophistication, freeing up your team, freeing up me, definitely, to focus on what we do best, which is building those human relationships and building those human interactions. So this slide focuses on two leaders in the space, Leasehawk and Elise AI, and highlights the impact of their virtual assistants and chatbots. So let's start first with Leasehawk's Lead Score AI. Their system is designed to handle property inquiries 24/7. So think about all of the questions you get while pricing, about availability, about property details. This AI assistant can respond to those inquiries with 94% accuracy, which is phenomenal. Sometimes us humans can't do that. And we'll forget or we'll provide something that is completely different. So the key benefit here is lead qualification. The system isn't just answering questions, it's intelligently qualifying leads, sorting the serious prospects from the casual inquiries. This means that by the time that a lead gets to your leasing agent, it's already a high-value, pre-qualified prospect. Next, we have Elise AI. Elise AI's conversational platform takes the step just a bit further. Their AI can handle a wide range of tasks from scheduling tours to managing lease renewals and answering a massive number of FAQs. And oh, by the way, we are not sponsored by Leasehawk or Elise AI. These are just two of the ones that I have found and I have talked to and I have studied about, and I'm bringing this information to you guys. So some of the results that we are acquiring here are astounding. Their system can convert prospects to tours by 125% more than a human can. This is a direct impact on your occupancy rates and revenue. And as we all know, everyone in real estate, occupancy, you want to be 100% occupant for sure. On the resident side, the automated follow-ups for renewals can reduce delinquency by up to 52% per quarter. So imagine the time and money that is saved just by having a system that ensures those crucial follow-ups that are never missed. And when we talk about reducing delinquency, what does that mean? Generally, we have an automated email that will send out 30 days before, then we'll send out 15 days before. But sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes that email doesn't go through, or sometimes it's not automated. Sometimes is the leasing person or the property manager sending that email from their own mailbox, and it doesn't get through. You don't have to think about it because the chatbot will already do it on a consistent basis. And from all the studies that they have done, they have reduced delinquency by 52% per quarter. That is very, very significant. So the most, yeah, go ahead.
Mike has a question about roughly how much does that cost to implement?
So for LeaseHawk and Elise AI, it would definitely depend on the amount of units that you have in your business. So they did not, when I spoke to them, they did not want to give me a specific number because it depends on how many units you have, how many of their features you need. So you can really tailor it exactly to what your needs are. If maybe you need something that maybe another system that you have doesn't have it, then you can tie on that together and then they will give you a specific price. But I cannot tell you 100% how much it costs because it really depends on what features you have and how many units you have. So you will have to contact them. I will tell you what, once I went into their website and I clicked on contacting someone, I was able to speak with one of their agents already the next day, and they were extremely detailed in the amount of information that they provided. So I encourage that if you want to know more. Okay, so the most important takeaway here is not just about the technology, it's about what that technology enables. So by automating routine inquiries and administrative tasks, these systems free up your leasing agents and your property managers to focus on high value personal interactions. They can spend more time maybe giving great tours or building rapport with residents, creating activities for the residents, handling complex situations, which we know happens, that require that human touch and that human speech. This ensures that no lead is ever left unaddressed and that every potential resident or current tenant receives a prompt professional response, whether it's at 2 p.m. or whether it's at 2 a.m. Generally, that would be me awake at 2 a.m. AI isn't, ultimately AI isn't here to replace your team. It's here to empower them, to make them more efficient, to make them more productive, and more focused on a strategic work that truly drives the business forward and obviously helps with investor returns. Do we have any additional questions from this slide?
I have additional comments on that, and I think this is to put things into perspective for most, is that one of the heaviest expenses for operating a multifamily property, especially any that is 20 units to 150 units or 200 units, it really goes back to the quality of your property management companies, right? Of being able to manage those assets. And a lot of times they charge between 3% to 8%, depending on how many units you have under assets management. And so if you do the math, typically that equates to about anywhere to, $80,000 a year to, if it's a larger project, then it could be as much as, even $160,000 a year or more, minimally. And so with these type of implementation with the LeaseHawk and Elise, it helps free up during the dead time when everybody's sleeping, including your own property managers, right? This is the manpower that you can implement without, and then again, going back to what Carla was saying is, when you can free them up to just focus on what really truly matters, without needing to be a firefighter for every drill that comes up, that's where, again, it comes, these type of tools are instrumental in saving money for operators like us, right? And then ultimately we pass on the savings to our investors. The other thing too is client satisfaction is another thing, or the tenants, right? The maintenance backlog is another huge deal killer for a lot of properties, is because when they have something broken or they have a need for something, there is not if you're calling them after hours, there's nobody that can really attend to it right away. But these type of tools will be able to triage it immediately and notify the appropriate parties and get them involved very quickly. And so now you have your tenants the retention is higher because your tenants are more happy that you're addressing issues immediately.
One additional tool that I'm going to bring you guys that we didn't put in the slides, but that when we were doing our research, there are even AI systems already that whenever you implement them in your property, whether it is, a two unit property, you have a small multifamily unit, or whether it's 200 units, you can implement them in your building. And whenever someone is passing by within a specific radius of that building, of that unit, if they have specific apps within their phone, they will get a notification that that unit is available to lease. That is amazing. Do you know how many people you can potentially acquire to fill your units just based off of that? It is, and each and every month, I should say, something new is coming up. So being able to stay ahead of the curve as an investor and as an operator is extremely important, because you know that you will reduce your costs and you will increase your efficiency and you will increase your productivity. Just a leasing operator, you could be paying them around $50,000 per year, and a property manager 60, 70,000, lowballing it for a 200 unit work. It's a lot of money. And depending on how many units you have, generally people are acquiring and adding to their team more and more property managers. You do not need to keep spending much more to acquire more people. You need to ensure that the people that you already have are efficient, they are productive, and they have the tools and the resources necessary in order for them to do the job that they really need to do in terms of their skills. And anything that is automated, that those are administrative tasks that can be done by AI, and is done by the AI. So
one
next,
too, Carla, real quick before and this would actually be something really instrumental too with as an operator, when you acquire these buildings, you ideally want there's the first 12 months to 24 months where stabilization happens, right? Where you're clean housing with tenants and things like that. So part of this, where the AI is handling the scheduling of renewals, it is on a timer that maybe you may forgot. Depending on which state you're in too. Like for instance, I'm in Washington, right? A tenant-friendly state. And so it really makes it difficult. If you miss the mark on when you're going through the process of eviction or things like that, or preventing from squatters, you have to be within that time frame and understand when the renewal is coming up, or what rights you have in the leases. And if to be able to be aware of that and have an automated system is going to help really minimize the squatters issues, right? Or tenant issues. But not only that, but even in the growth phase, when you're stabilizing, you're also able to give them enough time to prepare for the renewals, because the idea, the strategy is usually we would increase the rent, $50 a month or $100 a month, depending on the market strategy. And if that's the case, you got to give them plenty of notice, so that if they decided that, well, this is too expensive for me and I want to move out, now we have the advantage of knowing that we need to start leasing this unit or try to advertise for this unit before it became vacant.
Yeah, absolutely. I was remembering how we generally, as business owners, that you have to do your annual report, your taxes, your state reports, and all of that in specific timeframes. And depending if you opened one of your business in Florida, the other one in Wyoming, the other one in Washington, whatever it is, there are different times for different businesses that you have to submit your documents. And generally, what happens now is that we receive emails saying, "Hey, this is coming due," or "Hey, this date is coming up." But you have a life, and your life is pretty busy, and you end up forgetting to do things. Having virtual assistants allows you to forget about it, because they will already do it for you. So that's kind of like the mindset of it all, is that these assistants will not only remind, but they would actually do the work and remind the tenant and remind the property managers while they already perform the task. So your tenant can be, can remember to pay, can remember to renew, and then your property manager can take their time and do other things that are a lot more complicated. So the next slide is all about maintenance operations. And I love it because this is a huge chunk of the difficulties and the opportunities that exist within multifamily. So far, we've discussed how technology is helping with leasing and property management, but let's talk about an area that is often a major pain point for both tenants and property managers. This slide over here outlines a modern automated approach to maintenance that turns a reactive, often chaotic process into a very streamlined, efficient workflow. So the first step here is a massive improvement over traditional methods. Instead of those phone calls and voicemails that we talked about earlier, a tenant submits a maintenance request through a portal or an app. This is a game changer because they can include photos or videos, giving your team a clear, immediate understanding of the issue. It also saves countless back and forth conversation and helps avoid miscommunication right from the start. And when you when you tie it to a virtual assistant or a virtual chatbot, the tenant can have those conversations with the virtual assistant or with the virtual chatbot, and the person that needs to be taking care of X, Y, and Z can do so without having that back and forth. But this is exactly where the smart part of the process truly comes into play. So platforms like Vendoo and Vendoroo and Mezzo use AI to automatically triage and diagnose the request. And based on the tenant's submission, how well they were able to explain the problem or maybe the picture, the system can automatically categorize the severity of the issue and even suggest common solutions. So this means that simple problems like a clogged drain can sometimes be resolved very quickly without even sending a vendor, because urgent issues are immediately prioritized. The system will prioritize them for you, and for the low issues that can be quickly resolved, the system will already provide solutions for them. So this intelligent triaging ensures that your team's attention is focused on the most critical tasks first. And once the issue is identified, the system automatically selects the most appropriate vendor. And it's not just a random choice. The platform will intelligently dispatch a vendor based on the issue type, their availability, and their performance history. So this ensures that you're always sending the right person for the job, minimizing delays, and improving the quality of the repair. So it's a huge step up from manually calling around to see who is available, or maybe having that person going the unit and then, oh, I'm not the one to fix this. I don't know how to fix this. And then someone else needs to come. Or even sometimes, and this gives me a headache as well, whenever we have tenants sending something through one app or an email, and it seems like everyone is too busy and no one responded to the tenant, and 24 hours have passed and that tenant still is having the same issue. So having smart systems like this can really provide a very quick, in terms of seconds, in terms of minutes, response to your tenant, and can have them satisfied, happy, and you won't have angry tenants leaving bad reviews on Google or somewhere else, because they're satisfied, they're happy, they know that whenever an issue comes up, someone, and they don't know that is AI, and someone will respond right away and will provide a solution. Has someone asked something?
No, just comments from.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess it just kind of goes back to minimizing the deferred maintenance, which makes, for happy tenants, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time? When you think about it, when was the last time that you were a renter and something broke or something, and you submitted a ticket and their turn time is 24 hours, 48 hours, but versus here, it's like you can even expedite that process even that fast, much faster. But I think the other thing too is the scalability. Now you're kind of limited to typically what your in your geographic area. But if you own properties outside of Washington or Florida or wherever you're local at, now you can actually have these things implemented in nationwide in any of the properties outside of your local states, because you are able to kind of help manage and oversee things that are, and triage it a lot faster than you would even if you were physically there, boots on the ground. So that's why these tools are just amazing overall, but it allows you to have that scalability for sure.
Am I back?
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
great. There's a huge storm where I am in Florida, as always, Florida with the summer storms. So I apologize for that.
Well, I'm glad I filled in the conversation. We didn't even know that you were disconnected for a second.
Oh, great.
Thought that was AI.
Yeah, as soon as it disconnected, I'm like, oh, I'm turning my hotspot. And I was able to connect right away. Yeah, so guys, this entire process is tracked digitally. So, when that work order is completed, it's tracked in the system and it creates a permanent record and it closes the loop, and that tenant feedback is automatically collected. This provides both the operator and as well the investors, because they need to know this data as well, valuable insights to improve the quality, improve and identify who are the top performing vendors, who are the top performing maintenance teams, and ensure that the residents are happy. And the result of all this automation is that you have improved efficiency and improved satisfaction. Right. We have seen that the average response time by a remarkable, that it has increased for maintenance orders. It has increased by a remarkable 64%, and it has improved tenant satisfaction scores as well by 40% and up compared to traditional methods. So it's not just about saving time, it's also about building that trust with your tenants, creating a better experience, and it just allows for better returns in the end. I spoke specifically to the team at Vendoroo, and they have an amazing system that connects. If you are an operator and if you have AppFolio, they connect with AppFolio as well, and they're able to do all that triage. So whenever one of your tenant goes and takes the pictures or sends a questions or anything like that, whether it's lease related, whether it is maintenance related, whatever the question it is, Vendoroo system will automatically triage and it will automatically respond to them, and will only bring to the property manager or the maintenance team the things that really need an answer or an action from them right away. Everything else, they can do it by themselves. So that was pretty cool. So next we have integrated management platform. So we've discussed a lot of powerful individual technologies today, from smart thermostats to AI-powered chatbots to maintenance. But some of the real magic happens when these technologies are brought together into a single cohesive system. So this is the power of integrated management platforms. And just like when I was talking about AppFolio, which it mentions it right here, you can connect different systems like Vendoroo or like Mezzo or like everything else that talks to AppFolio, and it creates better synergy within all of the platforms that you already have. So you don't feel that you have to switch from one platform or one solution to the other. You can just integrate different systems with the features that you need to the platform that you already have. So one of them, a couple of them are AppFolio and Yardi, which are the central nervous systems for that modern property management. They integrate every critical function, from accounting to maintenance to leasing to communications, into one single platform. And this eliminates the need for multiple different software systems that don't talk to each other, saving your team from constantly switching between programs, re-entering data, and dealing with that siloed information. And the result is a unified workflow that is more efficient and provides a single source of truth for all of your property data. And the amazing thing as well is that I mentioned earlier is that they also integrate with other systems that we've talked about today. So you can have all that information in just one application. So the next evolution of these platforms is the integration of advanced AI. So for example, AppFolio's Realm X uses Gen AI to handle time-consuming tasks like writing property descriptions, drafting emails to tenant, generating complex reports, providing reports and financial reports to the CFO. So this isn't just a minor improvement for these tasks, but these tools can really save managers over 12 hours every week, and even the finance team as well. Many hours during the month whenever they're collecting their numbers. So, this frees up their time, of course, to focus on strategic work, face-to-face interactions, and rather than getting bogged down in these administrative tasks. And the last part of integrated management systems is the automated screening, which is a critical function that these platforms are revolutionizing in the applicant screening. As we all may know, manual screenings can be slow, can take days, and they often rely on a subjective analysis of a stack of documents and a bunch of information. So platforms like Tenant Cloud use AI to provide objective, data-driven applicant analysis. So this is not only reducing the approval time, from days to minutes, but also ensures fair housing compliance by removing that human bias from the process. So it's not anymore that you're going to have a person that is going to review the application, and if they don't know the policies within your city, within your state, who knows how long they're going to take in order to find that information, or worse, take action without knowing an information. So you're going to have these integrated management platforms that can already automatically screen, knowing the policy, already having the policy integrated within them, and they can ensure that fair housing compliance, they can remove that human bias, and obviously they can respond right away if that person meets or not your screening questions. So in essence, these integrated platforms are the key to unlocking the full potential of all the technologies that we've discussed today. So by connecting and automating every aspect of a property lifecycle, they create a smarter, more streamlined operation that benefits both your business and your residents, and obviously the investors. So far, we've seen how technology is transforming the lives of tenants and property managers, but let's not forget the final stakeholder, the investor, right? Technology is creating a more transparent, predictable, and profitable investment experience. This is achieved through sophisticated tools that enhance both market analysis and portfolio management. So the days of relying on intuition and limited data from property valuation are completely over, or at least I hope so. No one is doing that from intuition. I think that this is valued at so-and-so. AI-powered platforms like Rionomy and Crexi Intelligence, and some of you may know Crexi Intelligence, analyze vast market data sets to give investors that significant edge. And when I talk about investors, it's both active and passive investors, okay? These platforms can generate accurate automated property valuations with an incredible degree of precision, often within 3% of the actual sale price. This means you can make informed decisions in real time and not have to spend so much money and researching for all of that information. You can get it in one place. They can also identify emerging market trends before they even become widely apparent and predict neighborhood appreciation rates based on analysis of over 50 different factors. So this gives investors a powerful data-driven view of the market, allowing them to stop and to spot opportunities and mitigate risks a lot more efficiently and provide that underwriting with much more strength. So once a property is acquired, that technology is going to continue to provide immense value through advanced portfolio management tools, and platforms like Rentastic and AppFolio offer sophisticated tools that provide unparalleled visibility and control of that information. They can automatically track key performance indicators across all of your properties, so you know how your portfolio is performing. They can generate real-time financial reporting and cash flow analysis, obviously eliminating that need for manual time-consuming spreadsheet works, and you can get a single dashboard visibility of your entire portfolio from one property to 100, so you can see the big picture at a glance at what's going on with your portfolio. Again, this is available for both active and for passive investors. These systems can alert investors as well to maintenance patterns that might suggest that upcoming need for a major capital expenditure, allowing for proactive financial planning rather than reacting to unexpected crisis. And as we mentioned earlier, with unexpected crisis, it means that you have to come up with those funds, and hopefully you have enough chunk in your bank account that you can pay for those crises, but obviously that will impact your bottom line, which is the return that you provide for the investors. And in one of the worst case scenarios is, oh, well, we don't have the money, we're gonna have to do a capital call and ask even for more money from the investors. You don't want that, of course. So you want to be able to leverage these types of technologies so investors are no longer in the dark. Now, these technologies already have the data and they already have the insights to make smarter, more confident decisions. So why not use them? All right, and now, last but not least, so we've spent a lot of time today talking about what's happening now, the present of the IoT and AI in property management. But the pace of innovation is accelerating. What we're talking about today may still not be it, 6 months down the line or a year down the line. We need to keep up with this, right? Innovation is accelerating, and I want to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what's on the horizon. This is a look at the emerging technologies that will soon become the standard within real estate. So looking at virtual tours and staging, while these have been around for a while, they are evolving and becoming truly essential part of the leasing process. So platforms like Matterport create, as you already may know, incredibly immersive 3D virtual tours that allow prospective tenants to walk through a property from anywhere in the world at any time. It offers 24/7 open house, and for those out of town or international renters, it's a massive convenience. They don't have to come into your place right then and there. But we're seeing an even more powerful combination: virtual tours with virtual staging. So companies like RE Image, Home AI can virtually stage vacant spaces, filling them with furniture and decor that matches the property style. And this is not the current virtual staging that we have, that you clearly know that it's a virtual stage.
Did we lose you, Carla?
Like, no, this is, you don't know what's happening, and you can match exactly your property style. So this is a powerful tool because it helps potential renters really visualize themselves in the space that you're providing. And it can reduce physical showings by a significant amount. And most importantly, it helps decrease vacancy periods, which goes straight to your bottom line. Do we have any questions so far before I talk about blockchain and smart contracts? No? Okay, perfect. So something a little bit more futuristic, but something that has been working already in the back end. I know that I have worked a lot with my past C-level executives on blockchain and smart contracts. Blockchain is a secure, decentralized digital ledger. So when applied to real estate, it can create a tamper-proof, immutable record of property history. This means that you're going to have a clear, transparent history of ownership, transactions, and even maintenance records. And when we're talking about smart contracts, these are self-executing digital contracts that automatically enforce and process transactions when predetermined conditions are met. So this dramatically streamlines those complex transactions. And just to give you an example, a smart contract could automatically process a payment or transfer a deed once all conditions are met. So we don't need to wait for someone to look at something. That smart contract can automatically do that once those conditions are met. And this automation removes the need for many intermediaries, many brokers, leading to a faster, more secure, and more transparent transaction. So while this technology is still emerging, it has the potential to fundamentally change how properties are bought, sold, managed, and even creates a new level of efficiency and trust in the market. And trust is one of the bigger things that we see in the market in real estate right now, because there are so many people with so much information and people saying different things and giving numbers that don't exist or speculating on something else that has really created a trust gap within the market, within multifamily, within real estate. So having these types of tools like blockchain and smart contracts, who once they record something, that is it, no one else can change it, it will provide a lot more trust in the market for all investors as well. So I know that we only have 3 minutes, but I hope that you realize that this is an exciting time to be in the industry. And I hope this presentation has given you some of the great ideas that you can start leveraging these innovations today or tomorrow once you invest in one of the properties. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Carla.
I've covered a lot today, and some information may be completely new, which is, again, we make ourselves completely open to receiving your messages, your emails, your calls about what this is all mean, delve in a little bit more into AI. We're totally open to doing that. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand.
And if you still have,
I may raise my mouth. I can't raise my hand though. No. So I might have missed it before, but I was just curious. Are you guys noticing a lot of, like, when you say AI and like technology, are you utilizing like building automation as far as like lighting and stuff like that to like reduce common charges, like common area charges and stuff like that for energy? I don't know if you guys mentioned that, but
yeah,
are you noticing?
That's a great question. And LED and smart lighting technology has already been used, and it's continuing to be used. I didn't mention it today because it's not the future per se, because it's already here. Those technologies are already here. Unfortunately, what happens is that there is a gap of information, and people don't know that those technologies are already readily available, that they can add smart lighting into their units, into their buildings, and immensely reduce the amount of costs that they have due to lighting, whether it's exterior, whether it's interior. But the technologies are already here. I didn't focus it today because they're already here, but that's a really good point that you bring, and hopefully we can talk about it in a future webinar.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we own a EV and LED lighting company as well, and so that's something James, if you want to have a separate discussion about that, we can definitely go into more details about it for you, because it is definitely a game changer as well. But we are at the top of the hour here. Now, if you still have any questions that we didn't get a chance to cover, don't worry. I've dropped our direct contact information and I pinned it in the chat so you can follow up with either one of us directly. Now, as a reminder, we do host our Doors, Deals, and Dollars webinar series every fourth Thursday of the month at 1 p.m. Pacific or 4 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes that may change depending on the guest speaker's availability. But next month, we are bringing back a topic by popular demand, which is 1031 exchange and DST strategies, with our guest speakers, Chris Estelero from Exchange Resources and John Grady from Grady Capital Group. I'll drop the registration link here in the chat. And so just make sure you guys register. We apologize that, as we were trying to figure out how to integrate all of these, it got a little muddled with the registration. Their CRM was kind of acting up. But anyways, you should be able to go to that landing page. Going forward, that would be the page where you can go and see our upcoming events and the topics that we'll cover. So we hope that you found that, today's webinar was very useful and helpful. But in order for us to continue to deliver valuable content that's relatable for you, that's relevant and actionable, we look for feedback. And so after this call ends, there will be a pop-up survey. Please take, it takes only 30 seconds to answer and give us your candid feedback about how the presentation is today and if that was helpful. Hopefully you guys were able to walk away with some very actionable items in order to be able to explore different AI tools that are out there that you can implement within your own investment properties. But otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email. But have a great rest of your week. Thanks again for being here today. We look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you, everyone. See you next month. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Let me stop the
Recording.
thing.
How did you feel?